Alright guys, we've been talking about fraction operations for the past week, and this Wednesday we're going to have our very first quiz. So on this episode we're going to kind of go over just some good strategies for adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, kind of wrapping up all the things that we've been doing onto one page. So that way when you get to your quiz, you can kind of just look at one page and know what to do for an addition, a subtraction, a multiplication, or a division problem. So kind of set up your page like this. Alright, so the two most important things to remember when you're adding is to always add the whole numbers first and then add the fractions. Again, if you need help with adding fractions, look back to the previous episode to see the exact specific steps you need to do. Okay, so reference back to episode 25 if you need help on that. I'm going to kind of do a real brief one. So you always want to add your whole numbers first, so 1 plus 1 is 2, and make common denominators when you add your fractions. That was what episode 25 was about. So I'm looking at 2 and 5, I multiply those together and I get 10. I make a common, an equivalent fraction, so I'm going to be times 5 times 5. So this will be 5 tenths, and this will be times 2 times 2. This will be 4 tenths. So I add those up and I get 9 tenths. Remember, if you have an improper fraction at the end, to convert it back into a mixed number. You always want to leave your answer with a mixed number. Okay, for subtracting, you always want to, if you have a mixed number, you always want to convert to an improper fraction first. So I have 1 and 2/3. And remember, to convert that, you're going to multiply the 3 times the 1 plus 2, and that'll give you 5/3. Or you can draw it out, of course. This one would be 7 fifths. Okay? So if you have mixed numbers, make them improper, and then subtract your fractions. So you do that the exact same way as we learned in episode 26. You want to multiply your two denominators to make a common factor of 15. This is going to be times 3. So 7 times 3 is 21. This is going to be times 5, I'm sorry. So 5 times 5 is 25. And your bigger number should be on top. Your bigger numerator should be on top. And then you're going to subtract the fractions. So 25 minus 21 would bring you to 4/15. And that cannot be simplified. Remember to always simplify. And so that would be my answer, 4/15. With both adding and subtracting, you can always check your answer by converting to decimals. So if this is kind of being difficult for you, you can always turn this into be 1.5, and this could be 1.40. This could be 1.66. This could be 1.40. So you can always check using decimals. Check by converting to decimals. And so that's a great strategy to use for both adding and subtracting. You can check your answer by converting them to decimals to see if your fraction is the same as your decimal. Alright guys, next is multiplying, and the first thing you should always do is convert to an improper fraction. That's episode 18 if you want to go back and watch that. Multiply your numerators and multiply your denominators. So I got to convert these into an improper fraction first. So this is going to be 8/3 times 5/4. And one thing we've been learning a lot in class is an easier way to multiply these two fractions instead of drawing them out is to multiply the numerators and then multiply the denominators. So 8 times 5 is 40, and 4 times 3 is going to be 12. And so I need to always remember to simplify. And so I have 40/12, and I can divide both of these by 4. So 40 divided by 4 is 10, 12 divided by 4 is 3. And so I have 10/3. Remember, fraction means division, so I can just divide this out, and I can say this answer is going to be 3 can go into 10 3 times with 1 left over. So I can have 3 1/3 for my answer. Let me zoom that out so everybody can see it. Okay? So those are two big things to kind of easily multiply, is to multiply the numerators and multiply the denominators, and you'll get your answer. Alright guys, for our last one is division. And the first thing is first, always convert it to an improper fraction. Multiply the reciprocal. That was the episode that we did in class, episode 29.5, of the second factor. And remember, there's always a 1 under a whole number. I gave you all the example that I'm 29/1 years old. Every whole number has a 1 underneath it. So let me give you guys an example. Okay, so we have 3 divided by 1 3/5. So the first thing I want to do is convert my mixed number to an improper fraction. So 3 divided by, that would be 8/5. Alright, next is going to be to multiply the reciprocal of the second factor. Remember, the factor is the number. So I'm going to multiply that. So I'm going to do 3 times 5/8. And remember, there's always a 1 underneath a whole number. So that's going to be a 1 down there. So then I multiply that. I'm going to do numerators. 3 times 5 is 15. 1 times 8 is 8. So they have an improper fraction, so always convert it and simplify it. 8 can go into 15 one time, and I'll have 7 left over. So that's my answer, 1 7/8. All right, guys, the quiz will be on Wednesday. At the very bottom of your notes, be sure to add this hashtag, never forget, fraction means division. Okay, that's going to be an important part of your test, to always remember that a fraction just means that you need to divide the numerator and the denominator. Okay? All right, so be sure to have that on your notes, highlight it or make it nice and big so that way you won't forget. And I will see you guys later.